With the rise of AI, there's a lot of exciting tools that are coming to the forefront, just changing the way we do translation. Our team has created some tools that we used internally, and now we've published online at translatortoolkit.com in order to allow others to use the same tools that we've been using. One of these tools is the translation memory generator, a TMX file generator. Because one of the exciting parts, but also a little bit daunting, is that AI can now use our past translations or translation memory files that we've created from completed translations and use that to help us, aid the translator as they translate new works. Previously, translation memories were static, dumb, and a lot of times in our experience, they weren't super useful. And so we actually have stopped producing TMX files for translated works. We found that using an integrated system often slowed the translator down and then also caused the translator to produce kind of like a wooden translation. It was too tied to English or not contextually aware. But now with AI tools, there are ways to use TMX files and the memory of past translations in a way that is contextually aware, which is super exciting. But the problem is, what if you don't have any TMX files, but you have a ton of books or articles that you've translated in the past? How do you get those into a usable state for these new AI tools that exist? So one of the tools on translatortoolkit.com is a translation memory generator. And what you do is you basically take a completed translation of the source file, English often in the case for us, and then the target file, Khmer in our case. And you take those two in Word document format, and chapter by chapter, you upload those to the tool, which then utilizes AI to align the documents so that the paragraphs are aligned, and then uses AI to match sentence structures into a TMX file. It then verifies that those two matched pairs are good matches. If not, it will delete them. And then it produces a TMX file that should be pretty close to being ready to be used in another AI tool, like with SmartCat or some other tool that will then aid you in future translations. You could even use these TMX files to train your own model or fine-tune a model that you use in translation. Our team hasn't gotten to that point yet, but I wanted to show you how to use this tool so that you can get there. This is exactly what our team is doing. We're going through our old translations, the final translations, and converting them using this tool to create TMX files that can be used then for other tools. So let's take a look. How do we do this? First, we will pull up translatortoolkit.com. You log in. If you're not logged in, you'll also need to add your OpenAI API key if you don't have one. Translatortoolkit.com is free. We don't charge anything for it, but you do need to have your own OpenAI key, which OpenAI bills you for usage of their ChatGPT platform. So we'll first go to the dashboard, and it's checking to see if I have a key, which I do. And we'll scroll down here to the TMX generator. So convert your translation memories into industry standard TMX format for CAT tools. So open the tool. And what you'll see here is first you need your source language ISO 639 code, which for example in English is EN, and then your target language ISO 639 code, which you can look up yourself, or for us it's Khmer that we use, and that's KM. Then we're going to upload, again, this needs to be a finalized translation, right? That we already translated everything. We're just going to use that to create a memory or glossary of sorts. So first we're going to open a target file. So we open up an English file first. That's the source. So we'll do this one here. I'm just doing a short one for now. And then a target language file. Now, I do want to say the files need to be somewhat aligned already, so paragraph by paragraph. If they're too far, like the differences between the files are too much, the AI model won't be able to match them and you won't come up with a good result. So you might need to do some cleanup if you didn't keep the formatting the same in each file. So take a look if that's the case. Then we'll click Generate TMX file, and it gets to work. So first, what it's doing is just preparing the files. It's making sure they're matched paragraph by paragraph. It's not aligning on a sentence structure. It's aligning on a paragraph base. And as it does that, it creates the two basically memories that are aligned, and then it will parse again, making sure that it's targeting sentences of English, and in this case, Khmer, that are the Khmer is a translation of the English. All right, once it's done, you'll see some statistics. So there were 24 translation pairs matched, meaning the AI model aligned them. But as the AI model double checked, it felt like only 19 were really for sure matched. And the reason we did it this way is because you might have years and years, tens, 20, 30 books, right? And so the process of doing this would take a very long time if you were going through and having to validate every sentence yourself. And so we're being a little conservative here with the AI model. We really want to be sure that these sentences are really translations of each other. And if the AI model isn't sure, it's just going to dump it. And it's not going to include that sentence pair in the translation memory file. So this way we get a good percentage of accuracy. Even though we do lose some of the material, we just felt for speed, it's better just to be really sure that we've aligned. So then we download a TMX file. And what you can do then is go into a tool like Crowdin. This is crowdin.com that allows you to manage translation memories. It's free to use. You can create your own account for open source projects. And in this case, with the TMX, it's a great thing to have open source because then other people can use it for your target language. And so we can create a translation memory, give it a new name with the language that's the main language, and then it's going to have translations inside. But what we can also do is upload. And when we do this, what we're going to do is add that TMX memory that we had into an existing translation memory. So it creates a larger translation memory. So we're going to add, as we build these files in Translator Toolkit, we'll add them to a master TMX file that then will be a large database of translation memory. So once we did that, we can then look inside. You'll see that this actually has previous translations we've done. There's 232 lines. And the ones we just did are integrated into this TMX file as well. And our recommendation is that, yes, you do have a human go through and check each line. We don't fix it in our case. For our team, if there's something wrong, we just delete it. Because we have enough books translated already that our translation memory will be quite large. And so it's okay if we lose a couple matches just for the sake of speed and getting this translation memory file prepared. And so even if AI isn't able to translate your language, like for us, we don't utilize AI to do a draft translation. It's just not good enough for Khmer to English. But we are aiming to use this as kind of a helper, a glossary of sorts that's smart using AI that then helps the translator and says, hey, based on this translation memory, here's a possible translation of this sentence that's really close contextually, and it will really help keep vocabulary choices and those sort of things, especially with theological terms. Like our organization is involved with translating Christian material. It will really help translators be consistent across the board, even if multiple translators, maybe they tend to use a different word, but this will kind of push them in the direction of our organization's glossary of terms and help them. And then in the future, our hope is that AI will allow us to create draft translations that are edited by humans. And in this way, we're preparing for that because we'll have a usable translation memory file, which is a database of sorts that AI can digest, train on, and then hopefully as things improve, we'll be able to get to the place where AI is producing fairly good initial draft translations that we can work from. So we hope this tool is useful. It's useful to us, and so that's why we put it out online for free for people to use. So go give it a try, translatortoolkit.com.